it was something that I needed to not sit on. You can't have this kind of information, especially as a mom, and not want to share it.
What's up, friends, and welcome back to the channel. So today I am super excited to chat with you all about something that's been on my radar for a while. I talked about it a little bit earlier this year, and well, I'm wearing it underneath. So we're diving into the world of Juunaday. It's a unique brand that's bringing a fresh perspective and a little bit of healthy tech to women's fashion. So they're not just about making clothes that look good and feel good, although they're very good at that, but they're also offering something extra to their apparel, and that is protection from EMFs. And so in this video, I am going to share my personal take on my new wardrobe, including some experimental data I've done with my EMF meter. I am finally going to talk about EMFs on this channel for the first time. Oh boy. And then I'm going to share some eye-opening insights from Juunaday's founder, the one and only Marjorie Tong. Before we get started into the Juunaday side of things, I think it's time we first address the topic of EMFs, or electromagnetic fields, which, I mean, face it, these days, they're pretty much all around us, from our phones to our Wi-Fi routers, all the gadgets I'm wearing. Now, I have deliberately stayed clear of the whole EMF debate in the past, mainly because, well, honestly, sounds crazy, but I just haven't been too affected by them personally from a physical standpoint, maybe mentally, but that remains to be seen. I have experimented with a few gadgets that I've never really fully talked about, including the Somavedic and the Blue Shield, and I just couldn't gauge their impact, so it didn't feel appropriate for me to share my experience. But again, that was just my perspective, and your experience could be totally different. So that being said, I think it's safe to say that despite the rise in shielding tech, the EMF topic as a whole, it's still quite a bit polarizing. I mean, we have government agencies like the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences categorizing EMFs into kind of really two camps. So one being the non-ionizing EMFs, which think microwaves, computers, Wi-Fi, and yes, even those pesky power lines outside. So these are generally seen as, according to them, as low level and harmless. And then the other camp is ionizing EMFs like X-rays and UV rays. And these are known for higher radiation levels and then higher potential health risks. So that's one side of the story, but then there's a totally other side of the coin, which are the independent researchers and citizen scientists, all of whom are suggesting that there are, in fact, some potential health risks. Nick Pineau, known as the EMF guy, he runs a website. It's focused entirely on EMF protection, talks about the potential health risks associated with 5G radiation from cell phone towers, etc. So I get there's a lot of sides to this debate, and I am certainly not here to sway you either way. My aim, as always, is to try and lay out the facts and let you make your own informed decisions. That's what they taught me in journalism school, and I still stand by it. But I mean, I am not going to say stop using your devices, because I still use my Apple Watch and my Bluetooth headphones, because I don't believe that we have to give up on modern conveniences that make our lives easier and more joyful. So what do we do? Well, for me, I have been looking at exploring ways to balance this tech with these new health considerations. And one of the ways brings us to my new favorite clothing company, Juunaday, which is a brand that immediately caught my attention back in June when I met the founder at the Biohacking Conference. So Juunaday stands out as it's a clothing line designed by women for women that's blending fashionable activewear with this new EMF shielding technology. And boy, was this a refreshing and much needed change in the industry, because, well, before discovering Juunaday, diving into the world of EMF shielding clothing was, how you say, stepping into a fashion nightmare. I mean, think at the very best, space suit chic meets awkwardly fitting t-shirts. In other words, not great. And apparently, and thank God, I wasn't alone in feeling this way.
the options out there just didn't suit me. They weren't made for me. They weren't made for my body. I like to look professional. I like to look good. I like to feel good. And I couldn't find anything that suited my lifestyle.
And so the main idea behind Juunaday was to create stylish clothing that fits all body types while simultaneously offering on-the-go EMF protection. Hence your handful of versatile pieces like unitards and bodysuits, all of which contain this special shielding fabric built in. And so what's cool about these pieces is they are designed to be jazzed up or dressed down. So you can imagine going from your Pilates class to go get coffee to a business lunch, all chic and stylish, but you're still getting that EMF protection. And so that is the magic of Juunaday. But in terms of EMF shielding, let's actually talk about how all this works. Because I think there is a little bit of confusion in the space. Is it full? Is it partial? Let's try and clear that up as best as I can. So you basically have two key players. You've got this Faraday cage, and then you've got partial shielding. So picture the Faraday cage is kind of your full-on shield, kind of like what you see with bed canopies. And then on the other side, you've got partial shielding, which is more about focusing protection on specific areas. Now, if you were to cover your whole body in full shielding, that would not only cost a fortune, because most of this is made out of silver, it's expensive, but also, let's be honest, that is not very practical for everyday clothes. And so that's why Juunaday went with partial shielding and really focused their concentration on protecting parts of the body that really are the most exposed to EMFs, like your entire torso. But if you still need more proof and you're on the fence, let's dive into some hard facts, because I tested Juunaday's clothes with my EMF reader, and what I discovered was pretty amazing. When I used my laptop while wearing Juunaday, the magnetic fields dropped by a whopping 90% compared to not wearing them. And it's not just about laptops. Take the classic cell phone in your pocket, which I do all the freaking time. And in normal pants, the magnetic fields shot up to 9 volts per meter with my phone in that pocket. But then when I had on my Even Flow unitard with a shielded pocket, those numbers plummeted down to 1. And then just on a personal note, even though I'm typically not usually that sensitive to EMFs, I gotta say there is just something that clicks for me with their apparel. I've noticed that on days when I'm writing for extended periods, wearing Juunaday just somehow, it makes me feel more at ease. I feel just a little bit more sharp and focused. It sounds crazy, but it is really hard to put my finger on the exact reason. I guess it's just more of this intuition that wearing it makes me feel better. Maybe it's calming my nervous system. Maybe all these EMFs are actually messing with my mind and I didn't know. But again, it's really important to remember that everyone has different level of sensitivity. But what I've been noticing lately is a growing trend among health and wellness enthusiasts, many of whom I respect, I've met recently, and they're all talking about proactive steps to reduce their EMF exposure. So this could be anything simple from using a shielding device, wearing shielding clothing, maybe even just turning off the Wi-Fi router at night. So if you have been wondering about EMFs or thinking about a new way to explore protecting yourself, I really, really, really feel that Juunaday is an excellent starting point, because it's not just about the practicality of reducing your exposure, although that will happen, but it is also about integrating this new awareness into your lifestyle in a seamless and stylish way. And so for me, and maybe you, Juunaday, it really offers an accessible entry into the EMF world, which can be confusing, but it combines both fashion and function and makes it really easy for anyone to start taking steps, even just small steps, toward better managing their EMF exposure. So that is my take. I will link everything you need to know about Juunaday below. Marjorie is a personal friend. I have seen her grow this business single-handedly. She is one of the strongest women I know. I love her. And I would be so grateful if you could support her in her mission. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I cannot wait to catch you on the next one.